Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today, we are super excited to introduce our newest launch, the NiaRetin Duo. This two-step serum system combines 0.1% retinal, which is 20% more powerful than retinol, with 10% niacinamide to target wrinkles, uneven skin tone, loss of firmness, and dullness. It's powerful yet gentle, designed to deliver visible results without irritation. Whether you're new to retinoids or looking for a smarter upgrade, this duo was made to work in harmony with your skin, not against it. Let's dive into what makes it so effective, how to use it, and why it's quickly becoming skincare essential. Ready, Peter?
I am, and as always, a fantastic intro.
Thank you. I enjoy doing those.
Yes, you do.
Okay, question number one, which is a question we get all the time, whether it's online, in person, in our DMs and social. What is the difference between retinoic acid, retinol, retinal? And why did we choose retinal for this formula?
Yeah, that's a great question because it is quite confusing. So there's another term in there that I'm going to introduce that you just didn't mention, and the term is retinoids, right?
Yes.
So let's start with that. Retinoids is a catch-all word that describes all form of retinoic acid, all derivatives, including retinoic acid, okay? So these are retinoids. When people say, have you used a retinoid? They're asking, basically, have you used any form of retinoic acid, like retinol, retinal? They all fall under retinoids. Yes. The second term is retinoic acid. Now, retinoic acid is actually the active ingredient that you want on your skin. When you apply anything else like a retinol or retinal, the actual active ingredient is retinoic acid. And I'll describe exactly how that works. So an example is tretinoin. Tretinoin is 0.05% retinoic acid in cream form, and it is only available in prescription because it is extremely powerful. And as we can discuss later, a vitamin A, which is what retinoids are, vitamin A, can be toxic to you in higher concentrations. So when you get to the point of retinoic acid, you've got to be really careful because if you take too much, it can prove toxic to you. Okay? And that's also the reason why pregnant women and breastfeeding women are advised not to take any form of retinoids. So the next term I want to bring up is retinol, okay? And that's the term that everyone is familiar with. It's been around, a synthetic form of vitamin A since 1928 or 1930. It's been around for a long, long time. And it's the most popular skincare ingredient in North America because it's been around for so long. And it is the most studied, and it has, I think, thousands of actually skincare studies and has been proven to actually produce anti-aging results. That's why it is so popular. The problem with retinol is that it is a derivative 2 steps away from retinoic acid. So when you apply retinol, you go through 2 oxidative processes. It turns retinaldehyde first, an aldehyde. Then it oxidizes in terms of retinoic acid, which is what you want. So retinol is a stable form of a retinoid that used to be the only option. Unless you went, the prescription to go to a tretinoin or retinoic acid, you really had only one option, which is retinol, because it was a stable form.
And to just specify, it's retinol with an O.
Oh, retinol, yeah.
That's it.
I'd say about 5 years ago, a new compound was able to be stabilized, and it was retinaldehyde. So when we say retinal, it's short form for retinaldehyde. So our serum contains, with an A. Yeah, and our serum contains 0.1% retinaldehyde. It is 20 times more powerful than retinol because it doesn't have the waste, and it is far more gentle on the skin. Whereas 1 in probably 3 to 4 people will have some reaction to a retinol with an O, we get about a 1 in 200. So yeah, will react maybe some sensitivity to retinal. And the reason why is that retinal is only one oxidative process away from retinoic acid. So it doesn't oxidize twice, only once. And that elimination of one oxidation step basically removes most of the irritation and reaction to the skin. That's the secret. So currently in the market, retinaldehyde or retinal is the most powerful and safest and least reactive, least irritating form of retinoic acid or retinoid, on the market. You can't get better over the counter. You can get more powerful as a prescription, but over the counter without prescription, retinaldehyde is the best option you can have.
So do mention that it's also 20 times more effective.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, 20
because
times
far
more
less waste,
effective
right? Yeah.
than retinol with it.
Yeah.
When it's really, in my view, it offers the best of both worlds. It's high efficacy and better tolerability.
Yeah. So when we say 0.1% retinaldehyde, it is akin to, very similar to having something like 2 to 3% retinol, right? Without the irritation of the oxidative conversion.
That's it. Let's move on to the next big question is why are we pairing the retinal serum with the niacinamide? What makes this duo so unique, so special, and so effective?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So
they're all good questions. Okay?
They're all great questions. So no matter how safe and effective any form of retinoids are, so retinal or retinoic acid, they're still very inflammatory, right? Retinol or retinoids, by its characteristic, is a very inflammatory corrective, right? It renews skin cells, it sloughs off dead skin. Used incorrectly, it can very much irritate your skin because that's what it does. Niacinamide is an anti-inflammatory, okay? It also helps control sebum production. So it is the perfect sister to retinol or any retinoid because it counteracts all of the negative side effects of retinal while allowing retinal to do its thing. But also boosting the power of the anti-aging effect of retinaldehyde because the niacinamide takes care of the inflammatory and the irritation aspect of it. So you can use more of it and you can use more often without getting the side effects. It is really, really good when you pair them together.
It's a really powerful duo. I didn't expect to love it because I have very sensitive skin. So first of all, using retinal even was a hesitation for me, but it's the only retinoic acid that I can use.
Yeah, same here.
And it's paired with the niacinamide. I find I really do feel the niacinamide bringing my skin down, like in the moment of using it. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, same here, right? We tested retinols from 0.5% all the way to 2%. We haven't tested tretinoin, so pure retinoic acid. It's not
too much for this.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm going to get into right now. Definitely what we found is the niacinamide serum, 1% glutathione, really helps kind of boost the effect of retinaldehyde while bringing down its inflammation. What's interesting is I've tried both. I've tried applying the 0.1% retinal first, and then the niacinamide worked really well. Yeah. And then the vice versa, niacinamide and retinal. The prevailing wisdom is to use the niacinamide first as a protective layer and then the retinal after. But I mean, it's all very personal. So if you want to try both. I don't do
that. I did the other way around.
So do I. And I have no negative effects and I get the power effects of retinol right off the bat. So it's really, I think it's very personal oriented. So try it out. But
test out both ways.
Test out both ways. That's what I would say.
If you have more sensitive skin, then use the niacinamide first, and then the retinol, and then see how that goes. Just to recap, niacinamide retinol is inflammatory, and it should be. That's the point. Niacinamide it helps to reinforce the skin barrier, which is an essential part of skin protection when introducing actives like retinol. So it's really important for anyone who's using an active like retinol to make sure that it is part of a skincare routine that not just strips, it also heals
Yeah.
and moisturizes and protects. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in a few minutes. The next question that we've been asked quite often is, who is this product duo best suited for, and why should they consider it? So who are the people who need to be using this product?
You want to take that on, Andrea?
Anyone can use it, although we do suggest I would suggest that you be in their mid-30s before they're using retinol. Any kind of retinoic acid, retinol, prescription or not, I really don't agree with people who are in their 20s using it. People say prevention. I say just wearing out your skin far too early. So my suggestion would be anyone who is starting to notice fine lines and wrinkles, uneven texture, hyperpigmentation, acne, that kind of thing, 30 plus. It's especially good for people who cannot tolerate traditional retinol with an O. Those are the people that I would suggest to use it first.
So
it's just a gentler way to get the effect and benefit of retinol, but without the harsher side effects that is coming up.
I agree with what Andrea is saying. I don't think immature or premature skin needs to have a retinal or any retinoid in the skincare routine. It's not essential. I think growing and maturing skin can do a lot with other ingredients that are not so inflammatory, like vitamin C, for example. Azelaic acid is another one. However, there is a caveat, and the caveat is that retinoids in general are used for very good for skin cell renewal. Therefore, acne is one. So you purge the sebum or clogged pores through retinoids. So if you are younger, if you are in the immature skin category, so let's say under 30 or even under 25, and you've tried other methodologies like 2% AHA, BHA to cleanse out, trying azelaic.
Consistent cleansing.
Yes. It is, a consistent cleansing for sure with a brush, with an AHA, BHA exfoliant. If you tried all of that, then I would say a retinoid is a natural progression to see if it helps your acne before things like Proactive or things like isotretinoin or orals. So before you go to an oral acne medication, try a retinoid. And a retinoid combined with an AHA, BHA exfoliant in the right way with a niacinamide or even vitamin C or even an azelaic acid. Some combination of that topically will give you 90% of the way you want to go before you start oral acne medication, because oral is very dangerous. We don't want to get to oral unless your acne is so severe and you've tried almost everything.
Okay.
So there is a space and a place where retinoids should be used for immature skin.
Yeah. But it would, in my view, it would be like more of a last resort. Like
I would agree.
You've tried the more gentler methods and you were not successful, then that would be a natural next step.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. So let's talk about another really common thing that happens with retinoic acid, and that is purging. Lots of people have talked about skin purging and when to know if it's purging or if your skin is reacting in a negative way. So what is purging? How long does it typically last? And is skin purging something to be concerned about?
Yeah, so there's a term out there called retinal purging because it happens all the time. It's a very common occurrence. And purging or skin purging happens when skin cell turnover speeds up because of the retinal or the retinoids, and it pushes or pulls up all the underlying sebum, dead skin that's basically clogged up in your pores quicker. So whereas it might take you, days for this to come out naturally, what the retinol or the retinal does is it pulls everything up at the same time. So your pores can't handle it. And what happens is it looks like it basically clogs up and you break out. And a purging breakout looks different than a normal breakout or an acne breakout you would normally see. No. It has certain characteristics. It's usually not, so deep. It's kind of all over the place a little bit. It almost looks like a rash. And it usually lasts somewhere between 7 to a week normally. On the high end, maybe a couple of weeks.
Wow, that would be like aggressive.
Yeah, and then before it kind of turns down. And again, it's very, very common. It happens all the time. That's why there's a name for it, right? Retinal purging.
Also happens where you would normally break out. So that's another thing to keep in mind. It's not like new areas that it's all of a sudden breaking out or never did before.
Yeah. And it's not for everyone. Not everyone experiences retinol breakouts. We tend to see somewhere between in 1 in 10. So about 1 in 10 will experience a retinol breakout. And if we ask the question, do you normally exfoliate? And the answer is, I haven't exfoliated in years. That's the reason why. So if you haven't exfoliated or haven't taken care of your skin in a couple of years, retinol will bring all that to the surface, right? But if you've been exfoliating and taking care of your skin, you probably won't experience it.
Another thing to keep in mind is if you're using retinal, what it is, you're less likely to have intense skin purging. You might have a little bit, but you're less likely for it to be very intense as compared to retinol with an O or like the prescription retinol, retinoid. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. Another thought that someone asked me recently about the NiaRetin Duo, which was, are there any ingredients or products that shouldn't be used with this duo? And let's talk also a little bit about pregnancy and breastfeeding.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yes, absolutely. So retinol is one of those ingredients that does not play well with a lot of other ingredients. If you look at it in one way, or the way to look at it is any ingredient that leads to skin exfoliation, so taking layers of skin off, it is high inflammatory, should not be mixed with other ingredients that do the same thing. Perfect example is retinol, any retinoid versus or with AHA, BHA.
Yes.
Alpha hydroxy acid, beta hydroxy acid, both are exfoliants. Both will basically accelerate skin cell renewal and take layers of skin off, right? So that should not be mixed. So the question is, what happens when you do? It all depends on who you are, but I've tried it and it took layers of my skin off to the point it looked like somebody sanded my face with a power sander.
Yeah, I remember. It hurt.
It actually hurt. And I'm 52. Like my skin is mature.
Has really tough skin.
Yeah. So for my skin to hurt that bad to the touch, I would not recommend it. So I would avoid that. The other thing I would avoid is probably azelaic acid with retinol. It's not a great combination. Vitamin C with retinol probably isn't a great combination. I've tried that as well. And it's a little too much. Niacinamide works well with retinol. And that's what I would stick with.
Yes.
That's what I would stick with.
The other thing to note when we're thinking of pregnancy, if you're pregnant, you plan to be pregnant, so you're trying to conceive, or you are breastfeeding, we recommend that you avoid using retinol or any retinol product until you're sort of through that phase completely, because it can be toxic to the baby. And there are studies that do show that can pass through breast milk. So just some things to consider. Another thought for you, if you do have sensitive skin or you've never used retinol or retinol or any of the retinols before, always do a patch test and start slow. So 2 to 3 nights a week as opposed to doing it every night. Maybe around like your neck area, your jaw area, that's where you could test it out and see if there's no reaction. Then you should be good to go and can build yourself up to using it every night.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to talk about before we sort of end off here is when we are introducing, for example, the NiaRetin Duo, that doesn't mean that's the only products that you're using.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really important to understand that these products are an amazing addition to the existing skincare routine. They do not replace the foundational skincare routine. So, foundational skincare routine is always a cleanser, possibly a toner if you have acne or oily skin. And then you would introduce the NiaRetin Duo. So you'd either use the niacinamide first and then the retinol, or like I do, you'd use the retinol first and then the niacinamide. And then you would finish the routine with healing, reducing inflammation, and moisture. So then you would maybe end with a snail mucin or a hydrating serum, And finally, a moisturizer like the Firm and Lift or the Aurora Bioactive Collagen Cream.
Yeah, exactly.
But those parts of the skincare routine are very, very important to ensure the efficacy of the NiaRetin Duo. So using just the niacinamide and the retinol by itself will over time damage your skin barrier. So it's really important that you understand that. Cannot just use it on its own. It does need to start with a good cleansing practice and needs to end with healing and moisturization.
Yeah, I mean, who I think if we did a poll online and asked, who remembers the times when you had acne when you were younger, like when you were like 13, 14 years old and you went out to a drugstore and you got yourself those pads with benzoyl peroxide. Remember that benzoyl peroxide? And you'd wipe those benzoyl peroxide down. And then what would happen is your skin would, and that's all you would use because you had no idea, right? They're cleansing, moisturization.
I didn't even know about those pads. I just use toothpaste.
Well, yeah, toothpaste. Well, it's the same example. The idea of you're drying it out, right?
Yeah.
But then I would wonder why my acne, my breakouts would come back. Well,
we got worse, yeah.
Yeah, because when your skin thinks that it's hyper dry, it's going to produce more sebum, then it's going to clog your pores and produce more acne. So we had no idea about this whole idea that, you had to balance your inflammatory with an anti-inflammatory, you moisturize your skin so the skin is healthy and in homeostasis. That's the whole idea behind K-beauty and Korean skincare, right?
Balance.
Anyway,
It's very important.
That was a great talk.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into our newest, most exciting duo. If you're ready to level up your skincare routine with clinical ingredients that deliver real results, the NiaRetin Complex Duo is a new go-to. You can learn more about it or shop the duo now on our website at saranghaeskin.com. And as always, if you have more specific questions about your skin and how these products may or may not work for you, please reach out to us either through our skincare consultation on our website, or you can DM me on Instagram. I am very happy to connect with you there as well at Aurora Skin. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Live Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.